The lie you were told is that the corporate world is a meritocracy. You were told that execution, dedication, and measurable results are the direct inputs that yield the output of career advancement. The truth is vastly different. The truth is that the corporate machine is fundamentally an apparatus designed for risk mitigation, and you are managed not as a human asset, but as a potential liability. If you are listening to this, you have likely experienced a specific psychological disorientation. You do exactly what is asked of you. You exceed the key performance indicators. You solve the critical problems. Yet, you are stalled. You remain static while you watch less competent, less effective peers ascend the hierarchy above you. That disorientation you feel, that deep institutional vertigo, is not in your head. You are not misreading the situation. You are simply applying the rules of a game that the system itself does not play. It is the design working exactly as intended. To understand why you are stuck, you must first stop analyzing the psychological flaws of your individual manager. This is not about the wickedness, insecurity, or incompetence of individuals. It is about the mathematical logic of the system. The primary directive of any large-scale organization is not innovation, and it is certainly not truth. The primary directive is the pursuit of stability and predictability. In a complex corporate structure, volatility is the enemy. Truthfulness is inherently volatile. Solving deep-rooted problems requires acknowledging that those problems exist. Acknowledging problems creates a paper trail of liability, threatens middle management egos, and disrupts the smooth, upward flow of manufactured good news. Therefore, the organization does not reward the truth teller. It actively neutralizes them. The system selects for and rewards those who do not cause problems. The ideal employee in the eyes of the corporate architecture is not the visionary or the elite operator. It is the frictionless participant. The individual who nods in the meeting, rubber stamps the flawed initiative, and maintains the illusion of operational harmony is the one deemed leadership material. They are safe. You, with your insistence on efficiency and reality, are dangerous. This brings us to the first invisible boundary, the competency trap. Common sense dictates that being exceptionally good at your job is the prerequisite for promotion. The systemic reality dictates that being exceptionally good at your job is a massive barrier to promotion. You must understand the basic economics of your immediate supervisor. Your boss has a mandate to deliver specific metrics on a fixed budget. If you are a high performer, you are likely producing the output of 2 or 3 average employees. You are a localized point of hyper-efficiency. If your boss promotes you out of your current role, they instantly create a critical operational deficit. They lose their most reliable engine. Furthermore, HR will only allow them to replace you with one standard issue employee at market rate, which means a net loss in overall productivity for their department. Moving you is simply too costly. The system calculates that the risk of keeping you stagnant and slightly dissatisfied is far lower than the risk of removing you from a workflow that depends on your outsized output. You are penalized for your own excellence. You become load-bearing infrastructure. Infrastructure is maintained. It is utilized. It is never promoted. The system will promote the mediocre employee because replacing mediocrity is cheap, easy, and carries zero operational risk. Your competence has built the very cage that holds you. The second boundary is more insidious. It is what we call the memory threat. Corporations operate on a cycle of collective amnesia. Every fiscal year or leadership change brings a new strategic pivot, a new restructuring, or a new revolutionary software implementation. The system requires naive enthusiasm to drive these initiatives. If you have been with the company for several years, you have something highly disruptive. Historical context. You remember. You remember when this exact new strategy was attempted 4 years ago under a different acronym and failed catastrophically. You know which executives championed it, how much capital was burned, and why the architecture collapsed. Your memory is a direct threat to the current narrative. The system relies on a clean slate of optimism to push through top-down mandates. When a veteran employee sits in a kickoff meeting and possesses the data to prove the impending failure of an initiative, they become an obstacle to the theater of progress. The organization does not want you to hear that the emperor has no clothes. It wants you to help design the invisible fabric. Therefore, experience is quietly transitioned from an asset to a liability. The longer you stay, the more immune you become to internal propaganda. You stop reacting to the manufactured urgency. This lack of blind enthusiasm is immediately flagged by management. They sense your detachment. They recognize that you see the strings pulling the puppets. Because they cannot wipe your memory, they must marginalize your influence. You are excluded from strategic circles not because you lack the skills, but because you know too much. To enforce these boundaries without triggering lawsuits or mass resignations, the system utilizes a specialized, weaponized vocabulary. You must decipher HR language. Human resources does not exist to optimize your career path. It exists to protect the corporation from liability and to suppress operational costs. When you are passed over for a promotion and told that you lack cultural fit, you must translate the terminology. Cultural fit has nothing to do with shared values, ping-pong tables, or your personality. It is a corporate mask for obedience. It means the management team has assessed your behavioral profile and determined that you might question their directives. Cultural fit simply means the willingness to conform to the prevailing dysfunction without complaint. Similarly, when you are told you need to show more energy or passion for the work, the system is assessing your cost. Energy is a mechanism used to extract unpaid labor. A highly passionate employee is one who will answer emails at 11 p.m. on a Saturday, take on the workload of laid-off colleagues without demanding a raise, and accept a pizza party in lieu of a bonus. When they say you lack energy, they are saying you have established healthy boundaries, and boundaries are expensive. When they ask for an agile or flexible team player, they are demanding a worker who will accept shifting goalposts, vague job descriptions, and a lack of resources without documenting structural failures. Do not be fooled by the soft, human-centric terminology. It is cold, legalistic filtering. It is the language of control. Understanding these mechanics is not a reason for despair, it is a reason for clarity. Once you realize you are playing a rigged game, you can stop blaming yourself for not winning it by the stated rules. You can stop grinding yourself into dust for an institution that is mathematically programmed to absorb your surplus value and offer you nothing but institutional vertigo in return. Do not look for empty motivation. Do not seek to find your passion within a corporate hierarchy designed to exploit it. The solution is cold pragmatism. First, control your own narrative. The company's performance review is a financial document designed to justify your current salary. It is not an objective measure of your professional worth. Do not internalize their metrics. Your value is determined by the open market, not by a manager who is financially incentivized to keep you exactly where you are. Second, create financial leverage. The only invisible boundary you can actually break is the one you can afford to walk away from. The system relies on your economic dependency to enforce its rules. Build an emergency fund, cultivate secondary income streams, and aggressively maintain your external network. When you possess the financial leverage to leave, your entire posture changes. You stop asking for permission and start dictating terms. You become dangerous, and ironically, it is only when you are dangerous to lose that the system will negotiate with you. Finally, view loyalty as an illusion, not a strategy. A corporation is a legal fiction. It is a collection of tax identification numbers and operating agreements. It does not have a heart, it does not have a memory, and it cannot love you back. The concept of corporate loyalty was invented to convince you to trade your irreplaceable time for a fraction of its actual worth. Treat your employment as what it is, a transactional exchange of services for capital. Be professional, be effective, but remain ruthlessly detached. Extract your skills, extract your capital, and build your life outside the confines of their architecture. The boundaries they set are only effective as long as you believe you need to stay inside them.